So uncivilized.
Greetings and welcome to the Wednesday Scale Man proudly presents another episode, and we are back for Uncivilized Scoundrels. Me, myself, Vin Dog in the building. What's going on with you, brother? How you doing, man?
Chilling, man. It's been a busy week. Lots going on with work, but happy to be here. Happy to be talking Star Wars as always. So
Yeah.
Looking forward to getting into it. New show on Disney Plus. Here we go.
Yeah, new show on Disney Plus, bro. Like, definitely, man. We're gonna definitely jump into it. I mean, it's been a crazy ride with it, but we have individuals who are it's been very divisive, put it that way, for particular reasons.
Yes.
We can understand if the criticism is valid, but then there's always other things that kind of peek its way in and it rears its ugly head in. We'll talk about that, but more so, like I said, I just want to get into the show, other topics that we're going to talk about. We know that there was the cast of Ahsoka recently met up. They got together. They talked about a couple of things on a panel. Dave Filoni was there. Rosario Dawson. Hayden Christensen and the rest of the cast. Like, there's a few other cast members that were there, and it was something that was hinted that he said, and Dave Filoni kind of piggybacked off of it and didn't say anything. They just jumped in and jumped out of it real quick. So I just wonder if it's a tease of things to come. But definitely we're gonna talk about that. Okay. Also, we're gonna talk about like just the conversation that George Lucas recently accepted an award as well. And he also talked about his feelings of today's era of Disney and today's era of Star Wars versus his ideas and where he was from. And what he basically thinks about it. He also talked about diversity. He talked about, just a little bit of that. Also, we got, now that, and I think they did this purposely. A lot of people were thinking that, the Rey film, Daisy Ridley's film, would not release or we wouldn't see it, not knowing that she's been on a campaign for like 3 films. She did, Sometimes I Feel Like Dying or something like that, or I Think About Dying. The Young Lady in the Sea, she basically just did that. She has a lot of movies that she just completed, and now she has that time off to really kind of jump in. She said she's taking the summer off, but the script is done, and she will be reading it, soon. So we're going to talk about that briefly. A lot of divisive topics, but definitely episodes 1 and 2 of the Acolyte, dropped on Monday. Me and Toya, shout out to Rens and everybody else, who hit us up about it, hit everybody up about it. Me and Toya had a chance to actually see, a screening of it on Monday, which was pretty dope. It was a pretty solid showing. And then it dropped on Tuesday, which I forgot that they're going to be fulfilling that 9:00 slot. I was like, shit, I thought that shit was going to be like Wednesday morning again. But I'm glad that they're doing it at that 9:00 slot. That means
that going.
Keep that shit going, bro. Don't change that shit. Like, don't. I love that more than anything because I can prepare for it. I get off at 8. I could, I can finish everything up at 8 and just jump into it, bro. So I'm ready to do that. So I hope they keep that same energy. Don't change that shit. Not at all. Like, just keep up with that.
It's perfect.
Bro. Like, It's definitely perfect, man. Definitely perfect. He's Leo's Hollywood Cam moment. I wish Hollywood Cam just did an interview with Amanda Steinberg today. So I definitely want to check that out when he has it up. It's going to be interesting. Now, before we jump in and dive in on it, I got to always do this. Pay homage in places where we get these collectibles, these figures from. I'd be remiss if I didn't do it. Got to give a shout out to my man Ray over there at Underground Figures. That is all day, every day Ray. Again, if you ain't got it, he'll get it for you. He got all the figures you definitely need. No NRD, full transparency. On top of that, his shipping and handling is reasonable. You also want to make sure that you head on over to the page, sign up for his newsletter, so you will always up to date with new releases. When a figure drops, you basically know all about it. You always want to be in the now. And again, he's just all around a good dude. You actually head on over there, you tell him that Leo sent you, and he'll take care of you because he's just a solid cat like that. Also want to give a shout out to my man Ray from Hawkwarts Toys as well. That's it. Big Ray. Not only you get the figure you're looking for, but you get the comic book to boot as well as a sticker as well. Again, he always wants to keep you laced with source material. Again, if you're looking for those Star Wars figures, like right now, you could actually see he has that Padme, he has that Vader, he has that Luke from the Mandalorian. So he has a whole host of different figures out there that you can get your hands on. You just hit him up and he will definitely take care of you. Also want to give a shout out to my man, Watch His Six over at Comic Relief and Comic Collectibles. 1/6 scale, 12 scale, quarter scale, 10 scale, as well as comics, because that's what they do. Statues as well. If you want it, he got it. We'll definitely take care of you. He has been the proud sponsor of the Spring Fever Flex that was going on over there at the Figure Flex Friday Facebook channel. So you want to definitely make sure that you've been a part of that. But shout out to him for always supplying some good things as well, man. Definitely appreciate it. And last but not least, got to give a shout out to my man Brian Wong over there at Modu Space Modu Case. If you are looking for an incredible display, an immaculate display, you make sure you hit him up. He will definitely take care of you. Different scales, anything you're looking for, different packages you're looking for, he got it. Me, myself, I've been waiting for this mono. He's going to send that mono out. It's definitely a replacement of the Detolf. You know how those prices are for the Detolfs. Now you can get your hands on the mono pieces, and I think that's going to be incredible. It comes with so many different features, lighting effects, everything that's already in the adjustable shelves as well. So I definitely can't wait to get that and rock with it. So definitely make sure that you actually head on over there and talk to him, man. So yeah, definitely appreciate all that he does for the community. Yeah, man. I mean,
fucked up Ikea.
Yeah, bro, they fucked up, bro. Bro, literally, bro. Like, remember, Detolfs were like 59, like $60, bro.
Yo, it was a staple. It didn't matter year after year after year.
Solid, bro. Solid. You go get it, and you were straight. And then all of a sudden they just changed it. Like, it's just everything's up and changed. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
And I know COVID messed some stuff up, but they went to like what 130, like it doubled. Like jerk them for jerk them for a little bit. Don't
you know what I mean? Just for a little bit, bro. Don't jerk them
raise the price a little bit. You don't got double it.
Like just a little bit, bro. You ain't got to go through all that extra stuff. And this is what they did, bro. And they just didn't care. Like, there was no care in their body at all, bro. This is what they wanted to do, and they did it. And they just started raping folks. You can't find it, bro. Like, now if you go on, like, if you try to find the Detolfs, and you can definitely find it, but even if you try to find them, bro, like, it's just like, and I think they said at one point they tried to discontinue them, but then they stopped that. But bro, like, come on, man, those prices, y'all know better. Y'all know better. You know better than that. Stop playing around with folks.
Some glass, yo. It's just some glass.
That's it, bro.
Yeah.
It's just glass. It's just glass. And what's so immaculate about it that you had to? I mean, granted, good for displays and shit, but what's so immaculate about it that you have to raise the prices, bro? Like, that you have to necessarily do that.
The funny thing is like after COVID, all the lumber went up. So when you went into any kind of hardware store or furniture store after COVID, everything just was like through the roof. But then it's like, all right, yo, nothing changed with glass. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. It's this thing ain't made of wood. It's got like a little, a top that's out of, particle board, if that. But the rest is glass. Nothing changed with glass. I don't know. Nothing.
Yeah, bro.
It makes sense about some of the price hikes on it. So it's just like they just took an opportunity to, to gouge.
Bro, they took it all upon themselves to gouge just because. And they know that they could have. So that's why they basically did it. And I'm like, okay, to me, it doesn't specifically make sense. But, this is where companies, now, mind you, these mono cases aren't cheap. They're not. I think they're like 150 or 190 something. But it's just that he's added certain features in here that make it completely different. You know what I mean? It's not as it was before. You know what I mean? So definitely worth getting if you want like an incredible display. You have that at your disposal. So, definitely makes sense, man, for anybody that's actually out there looking for it. If you want like an incredible display, here you go. You got your chance to get it. Definitely. But anyway, man, moving on. Let me actually say what's up to the chat and everybody we actually got out there watching us that's tuning in right now. Got 34 people watching, man. Thank you for being here as always. We got my man Figure Craft in the building. Thank you for being here. Vinny, that comic collection in the background. You already know.
Thank you, bro. Long time collector, man. Long time.
Bro, you know what? The dope part about it is, like, we always talk about like backgrounds and stuff like that. I think you got the ultimate background, bro, because every box, people are probably just wondering what's in them. You know what I mean? Like, what's in them? Like, what you got? Which editions do you have, bro?
Mm-hmm. It's a lot. It's as you know, long time collector, went through many different variations of figuring out storage solutions, and this has been, the ultimate. So it's definitely made storage more of a viable solution with these drawer boxes that they came out with like 10 years ago. So that's definitely helped. But that's always, for any kind of collector, is usually a big problem. Where are we gonna put all this shit?
Where you gonna put this shit at? Mark P said, I just arrived. Play the intro. All right, you know what? For Mark P for showing up, bro. Let's play the intro. Let's do it one more time because I know people love it. Let's do it one more time.
Run that back.
So uncivilized.
Mark P, you can't say I ain't do nothing for you, brother.
Mark be showing up at football games. I just arrived. Play the anthem again.
Play the anthem again. Run that back. Hey, I just arrived. Play that down back, bro. Run that first down back, bro.
I just got to the theater. Play them trailers again.
Hell yeah, bro. You already know. You already know. We got Figure Crab in the building. Thank you so much, brother. As always, Mark P is in the building. Lyric to the Souls in the building. Thank you for being here. Who else we got in here with us? Pedro Lopez is in the building. Pedro is a funny dude, bro. He is. We got Ren's Talent. Tino is in the building. Thank you for being here as always. And you know what? In the spirit of a Star Wars show, Vinny, like it just because. So as Ren's first of all, Vinny, if you watch Figure Flex Friday, do you know that Ren's is synonymous for something that he does? So in a couple of pictures, he took a photo. I forget, it was him and Darth Maul with some chicken, bro.
Bro, I seen
the chicken.
I think Dean or somebody was like, show the chicken, and then I couldn't understand what the joke was because I missed it. And it's just chicken on a keychain.
It's chicken on a keychain, bro. Like, bro, it's keychain chicken,
bro. Renz, man. What Renz? I love you, bro. I'm speechless. You know how hard it is for me to be speechless.
Bro, keychain chicken. Bro,
chicken.
Bro,
keychain fucking chicken. That's what KFC stands for now.
Keychain chicken, bro.
Keychain fucking chicken.
Keychain chicken, bro. Scoundrels is back. Brandon Salad, thank you for being here, bro. As always, we are back. Straight up. We got Blitz 0065. Hey, what's going on with you, brother? I'm a grown-ass man. He already know what time it is. Amber May is in the building. The Den Mother, thank you for being here as always. Who else we got to hit? We got my man Malika Mabane in the building. Thank you for being here, brother.
My man Mabane.
If you are ready to listen to WRNR, Real Negro Radio.
Caller, you're on the air.
Caller, you are on the air. You already know.
With your funky ass.
Bro, I can hear you saying, bro, like, now that you say that, if you look at Malika Mabane's face, don't it look like he would say something with your funky ass?
Caller, what the hell do you want?
Yeah. Hell yeah, bro. Thank you for being here, bro. As always. Who else we got? Holland Toys Flicks in the building. Thank you for being here, brothers. Always. First Locust is in the building. Smiley is in the building. Thank you for being here. As always. We got Double Dog in the building. Thank you for being here. As always. We definitely appreciate it. Lumi was like, is that a piece of yeah, bro. Hell yeah, bro. You already know. Thank y'all for being here and thank you for being in attendance. Such an honor and a pleasure to have you guys here. Let's jump in. We're going to jump into a few things first and foremost and talk about it because, like I said, it's definitely worth talking about. So we had, so last week, I think it was last week or last weekend, there was a panel whereas Dave Filoni and the cast of Ahsoka, basically they showed up. It was at an event. It was basically at the FYC festival event in Los Angeles. So they basically showed up and they talked about Ahsoka. They didn't talk too much. They didn't say anything about like season 2, even though it was hinted. But what they did do is they asked Hayden Christensen. They were like, so, did you study up on, the Clone Wars? And he was like, oh, indeed I did. And so he started talking about it. He started talking about like, the Clone Wars itself, how he got into character, the inspiration for what he brought to episode 5, which you and I were gracious enough to actually see at an early screening. And how he basically got himself into that particular mode. And when he say that, when he said it, Dave Filoni politely, slightly said, yeah, we can possibly bring it in live action. And then went silent. Nobody, but I caught it. It was like almost a split second. And so then it had me thinking because a lot of people had remember, like it was a few weeks ago, a lot of people were talking about the possibility of seeing a live action Clone Wars, like what Anakin and Ahsoka got up to, what Anakin and the rest of the clones got up to, maybe missions that weren't really talked about or certain things that they might have actually did. And I was like, yo, that would definitely be interesting. We know that people love the Clone Wars. You know what I mean? Absolutely, bro. Like its influences. And the thing is, when you think about the Clone Wars, bro, it was how it kind of tied up loose ends, bro. It threaded those loose ends. When people were having like the conversations about, the prequels, a lot of people we're really, really divisive about it, to be between, the Clone Wars. And then, of course, we got, Revenge of the Sith. People hadn't really warmed up to the idea. And I think that what Clone Wars did was it warmed everybody up. Like it really basically brought people together, in this space. And, I think they did such a good job. I definitely wouldn't be opposed to like a live action, but I thought about it. If they did a Clone Wars live action, they would have to bring back Natalie Portman. And she did say that she is now open. If they called her, she would be open to do it. So I'm wondering, bro, now I don't want to speculate and read too deep into anything at all. Yeah. But what would you think? What do you think about the possibility of something like that happening, V?
Well, I think the most important thing that the Clone Wars did was it kind of fleshed out and fixed. I mean, I almost hate to say fixed because obviously George knows what he wanted out of Anakin's character leading up into the turn. But it made so much more sense the way he was written in the animated Clone Wars, in that Anakin wasn't just like some spoiled brat who was just like doing whatever he wanted and fucking up and then went bad because he didn't get his way, which the films kind of made it out to be. Yeah. Whereas in the animated series, he was the answer.
Yeah.
He was the answer to everybody's problems. If there was a problem, he was the solution. When he showed up, you could breathe a sigh of relief because Anakin was there and he was going to make everything okay. And that type of hero in the Clone Wars made you understand why the Jedi, why his superiors might have forgave and looked the other way some of his clashes with authority because he was a winner. Whereas in the movies, a lot of times he failed, and winning solves everything. So
Mhm, mhm.
you would kind of like maybe look the other way with some of his antics and actions, because he was, you know, getting the job done and
Yeah,
helping out so much. And then
yeah,
it also made sense why you would allow him to continue to grow in the ranks and power and
mhm,
status and
yeah,
be put in a position where him turning could hurt you. Whereas someone who was behaving the way he behaved in the films, you would think, you're benched, man. We ain't taking you on no more missions.
yeah, bro.
You don't do
Yeah,
anything. And then Obi-Wan treated him like a brother in the animated series, who just like he covered for him whenever he didn't listen, because he knew, he was like, Anakin knows what he's doing. He wasn't supposed to do it this way, but we got the job done. So Anakin just, maybe like, let's not do it that way next time. But
yeah, yeah,
I
right.
ain't gonna tell mom though. But in the movies, it was just like he was dad on his ass, and it made so much more sense that he would have tricked or deceived or been able to get away with that term without being, under the radar as he was in the anime series. So it made, like Hunter said, it made him such a more believably interesting character, and it made it more devastating and tragic that he turned.
Yeah,
Whereas if someone is an asshole all the time and don't listen, it's like, man, he's a headache.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Becomes a criminal, it's like, yeah, of course. But if somebody who is like always like got your back, he's your ace, and he's always like coming to
mhm,
meet him, and that person becomes a criminal, like, oh, I ain't see
yeah,
that made it, you know what I mean? That's more interesting to me, someone who flipped, than someone who you didn't have to spend 3 movies telling us that, hey, he might do this. It's more
yeah,
interesting to me, someone you don't expect to
yeah,
become evil, because
yeah,
otherwise, why would you trust them if you've seen all these signs that they showed you? So I
yeah,
think that is what the animated series did a great job in
yeah.
showing. It made him so much. It made
It
it more
You
believable.
humanized him a lot more, and you made it more believable. You made his imperfections
It made it more
quote
believable
relatable.
that the council trusted him. Because
Yeah,
why would the council
yeah,
trust someone who, like in the films, it didn't make sense the council would trust Anakin because he was always bucking authority, but
yeah,
in losing. But in the
yeah,
animated series, he was bucking authority and winning. That made it
and
more sense
winning,
that you would
bro.
trust him
Yeah,
because he's a winner. So it's like, all right, we'll let you slide because you just saved everybody
yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah.
So
He
as far as what they might be doing, first of all, these motherfuckers been on a world tour. Every con, Rosario and Hayden have been going together at so many cons since last year. They've been touring the world together, doing all these press conferences, these con conventions, these signings, and I'm sure they've spent a lot of time together talking about things that they could possibly be working together
Mhm,
on.
mhm.
And a live action version of Clone Wars, maybe some people feel like, oh, we've already had those things answered, but I would
Question like this
absolutely,
right here. Yeah, are they
that's
actual?
definitely one of the reasons why people would question, like, why would they do this. But I feel like the upside to doing something like this would be very very positive, and there's the downsides would be minor in comparison. I would love to see. Now I wouldn't want to see a film. I think maybe a Disney Plus movie would be
Yeah,
dope.
yeah, like a Disney Plus, maybe
A
and
miniseries like a Kenobi, like
yeah,
a 6 episodes, something just
yeah,
like something just like for us. You know what I mean? Like you have these experimental shows like we're going to be getting into that maybe test waters on different things that you're not so sure will work. This is something that's kind of like a layup.
yeah, and that's the thing, bro. It doesn't have to be, like you said, they could do like a 8-part, miniseries, like a eight or 12-part miniseries. You know what I mean? Where, like they used to do back in the day with like certain shows where you didn't
Yeah.
necessarily need to have, you know what I mean? Like something like that, I think would definitely work.
Yep.
And it would, it would bode well. And not make promises on it being like one, because I think that's the thing is like we get caught up in this space where, oh, is this season one? Are we going to get a second season? We don't have
Yeah.
always, if the story, and we always talk about that, if the story is told the right way, they can tell it in a television or streaming format. The only thing that I would want them to get around, again, like, and I said, we're going to talk about this probably even later on with what we saw with the Acolyte is this again, it's the half hour, 45-minute, time period that really you don't want it something like that to feel rushed. And I guess they have the reasonings for doing it, but again, I for something like that, I think it would be dope, bro.
I'd love to see it. I mean, especially in that kind of format, I'm down.
Yeah, bro, like that. I'm definitely down.
I
I'm
mean,
down with
and
that.
Clone Wars showed that there's so many different missions that they could touch on. It doesn't even have to be a mission that they did in the animated series. It could be some mission that had a beginning, middle, and end that they can make a show out of.
Yeah,
Simple.
yeah, definitely, man. I think again, like we always talk about this, bro. Like I mean, I think it would go well. I think that with them, they can pull it off. They have the tools of doing it. People who think that they're even with Pedro, he said, do you think they're too old? Hey, they can de-age. They have ways to basically de-age, and they don't have to de-age so it looks to the point where it looks unfamiliar. De-aging with these particular characters would be easier because of the simple fact that they're not dead. So you have the same actors playing the role, but just slightly de-aged. But if you can perfect the de-aging a tad bit more, and what and again, like you don't really necessarily need to have the Rosario Dawson version of
You
Ahsoka
can
because she
have
has
I forget her
Ariana
name, but
Greenblatt. Yeah,
and because by the time they would be filming, she would be
yeah,
perfect. She'd
the
be perfect
perfect
age.
age. She would
Yeah.
definitely be the perfect age to do it, and I think something like that would honestly work. And I think that it would be something that would be good for her. But yeah, I don't know. Everybody out there, man, let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think something like that would be pretty cool? I do. But again, like I said, we may or may not. We may, because again, we know that we're going to get season 2 of Ahsoka, so her story is going to be played out, or a lot of things are going to be played
And I
out
think
in that.
McGregor would love to do it.
Hell yeah, bro.
Every time he talks about it, he's like, "Hey, if they want me, I'm back."
If they want him, he's back, bro. And I'm wondering if that's something that they would even consider doing. And I think that that would make more sense because I think one of the biggest things is you had both you and with Obi-Wan, even though I loved it, I didn't have a problem with it. But what
It was
Obi-Wan
great to
was,
me.
it was great. But I think that the problem was it wasn't enough camaraderie with him and Anakin or him and Vader. And I think that that's, which it shouldn't have been. But I think that, seeing Obi-Wan back with Vader, with the Natalie Portman, with the young Ahsoka, and they don't even have to kind of show, because remember, like with Clone Wars, there were only a few episodes that we actually got a chance to see Natalie Portman's Padme in it. She wasn't in it the entire, it was more so about,
It was
you
smart.
know,
They realized they played up the romance side in the films,
yeah, and they didn't
so
really
this
need to
was
kind
the
of dip
war.
into that. Yeah.
They wanted to focus on the war side, which
Yeah,
is
yeah. So they definitely focused on that. But I think something like that could be done. And I think it would be interesting. We just got to kind of wait and see how it's going to play out. But everybody out there, let me know what you think. If you were, down for something like that, if it's something that you would want to see, let us know in the comments, and if you want to see it fleshed out. Like Hunter said, yeah, they made, Anakin's character interesting. They definitely did, man. It was definitely interesting though. So yeah, just let us know what you all think. Moving on, I want to jump into this real quick because it was interesting conversation that the creator himself, George Lucas, was actually honored. So he was honored. He received an extra awards for his accomplishments. But then he also sat down and talked about Star Wars and what it meant to him. But also realizing after he sold it, he was just selling his baby off. But he also said, Vinny, that no one understood, or no one recently has understood the concept of the Force like he does. And I think a lot of it was, remember, like Bob Iger had released a book. It was sort of like a document, like a doco, like a autobiography, whatever. Not even that, but it was just like his thoughts and whatever. And he talked about how George Lucas, like, he did feel bad that they didn't go with the treatment that George gave them. And he
right.
admitted that George gave them a treatment for, what I mean? What was it? 7, 8, and 9. He talked about how they basically he gave them the treatment for it, but they completely just said, nah, we're going to do our own thing. Now, hearing that, and we talked about this briefly before, him selling off to Disney, they are kind of well within their rights to do whatever they want to do at that point,
Of
right?
course.
So they can, you know what I mean? So, and on top of that, he got $4.5 billion off of that. You can't be complaining too much. But I can understand that it's your baby. You're the creator. You have the ideas. You know these characters. You know these stories a lot more than anyone else. You know what I mean? And we also know how he felt about canon, or he felt about like all the different IPs that came out. He wasn't really too much influenced in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
After the movies, he just let people run with those particular stories. But he talked about, like, again, no one really knowing the Force like he. You think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. The way I always looked at it is like, you know, I love him and I fully respect his decision to sell it. I understood, you know, you felt like you didn't want the pressure and all the bullshit that comes along with doing more of these, and you sold it fine. But I'm with you, like you kind of gave up your right. Like you can't give your kid up for adoption and tell them that what kind of sports they should be in and how they should cut their kids hair. It's like
Yeah, you
you
can't.
you you gave the kid up for adoption, bro. Like you can't come to the PTA meetings anymore. Like
Nah, bro.
what are you doing? You're not supposed to be here, bro. Like uh I feel that you and who am I? But you didn't need that $4 billion. You were already probably damn near a billionaire. You
Yeah,
could have simply said, "Look, Filoni or whoever, you're gonna be my puppet director. I want somebody who's going to do all the hard work with my
mhm.
vision." I mean, really? That's what the fuck Marvel does. That's what Kathleen is doing with their people. They bring in people who are going to share the vision they want to do. Otherwise, they don't get to be there. I
Exactly.
mean, that's simply he could have simply just hired somebody, be like, "Look, hey, I'm not trying to go this make this my life anymore. I want to be with my family, but I want somebody who's going to respect the way I view it." And do you know how many directors would be like, "I'll do it. What are we doing, George? Sign me up."
So let's go.
I love how you do I love how you do Star Wars. I'll work with you. And then basically he could have just executively produced those films and micromanaged them as much or as little as he wanted to, and made sure that they were doing what he wanted to do, and then he could have still had control without having to go to work every day and deal with all the fans giving him shit for whatever the hell they wanted
Yeah,
to give him shit
bro.
for that day. But
Yeah,
he said
bro.
peace and sold it, and then had seller's remorse, and then
Yeah,
like because they didn't do what he would. But like, I mean, now you're in the same boat as us. You're seeing
yeah,
somebody do with what you love shit that you kind of don't want to see, and then maybe you kind of get why and how some Star Wars fans feel. Because think about that, there's a lot of negativity about negativity, but
yeah.
even Lucas is disappointed in some of the stuff that he's seen on film. So
Mhm.
you know what I mean. So I I get it though, because if anyone has, that's his kids,
That
but I
is,
mean,
bro.
but he gave
Mhm.
them up. He
You
should have
said
just
this. You said something interesting. We talked about this on Comic Book Talk with Friends before, and you said this, and I was like, you know what? As always, V is always on point with his insight, because it is true. You create an art piece and you put so much time and effort into it. You take it to a con and you sell it off. It's not yours anymore.
it's for the world to interpret.
Exactly. It's not. It's definitely not yours anymore.
Yeah,
The world's interpreting those pieces. The world is taking that, and you got to let it go. You know what I mean?
right.
You don't. You don't have the jurisdiction over it anymore.
Nope, I can't dictate someone else's feelings on how a piece resonates or doesn't with that person as I'm putting it out for them. Just like when you make music, how somebody takes it, it might hit them many different
Totally
ways,
different.
different than you intend.
And
You
I
might
can't
make,
tell them how to feel.
yep, you might make a track that's introspective that to other people is some grimy shit that they all like, or conversely, you might make a banger that somebody just thinks about something that means more to them than it ever meant to you.
Exactly.
That's it's all interpretation. So what these creators of these properties make and then put out there in the world, there's so much conversation back and forth about how as fans we receive them, and I feel like as long as it's in a relatively healthy way, it's absolutely understandable to perceive and receive those properties in so many different ways, because we're all different people, come from different walks of life, wanting to see different things, reacting and feeling in different ways because of our personal experiences. So George having um, a lot of conflicting and torn emotion about seeing what has been done or not done with his baby is completely understandable. Just like I feel like it's completely understandable as older fans who've seen Star Wars go through such drastic different approaches to this world. Right?
Yeah.
We've seen drastically different approaches to this show. So it's not really a surprise that people have harsh criticisms or
Mhm. Mhm.
harsh or drastic, strong feelings of love for these different ways that they're being presented, because it's just like a comic book world where there's stuff that's really silly, there's stuff that's really serious, there's stuff that's in between, and there's so many different subgenres of Star Wars now that
Mhm.
it is very, very hard to please all the people, because just like George said, like when he made the first ones, it was for kids, and now adults are complaining that, hey, it's not for me. Well, there's properties that are for adults now, like Andor, and there's properties that are for kids now, like you know, you know, resilience and what I mean, resistance
Yeah.
and different cartoons, and so there's so many different things that no one can expect that all the different Star Wars stuff that's out there is going to make everybody happy. So I definitely could see him um, having a lot of different opinions about it, especially considering that he made a very finite, small amount of films, and now the Star Wars world is massive.
Yeah. That's the thing. It is okay, bro. Like it's okay. But here's the thing that kills me, bro. It's because the chit chatter around is George is coming back. And you see like a lot of people, saying, "Oh, George
Which
is
is
coming
silly.
back," which
George
hasn't
ain't
been
coming
confirmed.
back.
No, and it
George
hasn't
ain't
been
coming back.
no.
George just feels like getting out talking sometimes. He
Yeah,
ain't going to work.
yeah. He just wants to talk every now and then. But then on top of that, bro, it's like this. What kills me is that they people get hype about that when it sounds like, okay, yeah, George is coming back. He's going to come back and fix. No,
No,
where were you with that energy when he was releasing the prequels and releasing his interpretation? No, half of y'all motherfuckers was shitting on him the entire time. You know what I mean? Y'all were shitting on his interpretation. You're just now embracing the prequels after so many odd years
Mhm.
of what it went through. You know what I mean? Like, so again, he doesn't want that smoke because even if, bro, like, here's the thing, bro. It doesn't matter if they even sold it back to him, bro. If they, it doesn't matter at this particular point.
That's why
Fans,
I will always be team glad he sold, because you might bitch about uh any different. You might bitch about Book of Boba Fett.
yep,
People might bitch about Acolyte, but I guarantee you at some point, whether it's Force Awakens, whether it's Rogue One, whether it's Mandalorian, there's multiple things over the past, what's it been, almost 10 years now.
yeah,
There's something that even the most hating ass Star Wars fan, I'm sure there's something that you liked, and if he hadn't sold it, you wouldn't have got that.
exactly.
So we've gotten some stuff that I didn't like. We've gotten some stuff that I fucking love, maybe almost as much as
Yep,
the OG. So I'm glad he sold it, because I don't think we would have got anything.
exactly. We wouldn't have got some of the IPs that we have. Say, well, look, I, you know what, I die. Rogue One. You know what I mean? Definitely, I die on so many particular hills. Rogue One, the feeling of when even when the Force Awakens released, the feeling of
Force
that, the
Awakens.
nostalgia, that was phenomenal. It was such a good feeling. Say what you will about these films, but they
Yeah.
resonate in us. For certain particular, and even if it's an IP, if something within the IP that we don't like, there's always somebody out there there's no wrong or right way. I just
Right.
think that the conversation structure needs to change. That's all. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm not telling you that you're wrong for disliking something. I'm not telling you that you're wrong for liking it. I just think that when it comes to two opinions, the conversation structure needs to sometimes be met with a level of like cynicism, like, with like a level of like, respect, and
That's it.
that's
Disrespect.
it. That's this level of respect, but it's not. So again, even if he decided to come back, or again, which he's not, I don't understand that energy now that wasn't given to him then, when he, again, the mention of midichlorians would set motherfuckers off. Oh, that's
Yeah.
stupid. How is that stupid when it came from him? And that's what doesn't really make sense to me, bro. Like, but
It's nostalgia. It's kind of like
yeah,
oh, you know what I mean? Like oh, back in the day. It's kind of like how what it reminds me of? It reminds me of how like sometimes people our age will say like you know movies and music in the 80s were like untouchable, but that's because you remember all the best ones. You're
yeah,
not thinking about whoop there it is. You ain't thinking about all those one hit wonders that are similar to the one hit wonders that come out now. You're
exactly.
thinking of just the classics, just the shit that stuck with you. So back then, like there was stuff that he did that you wouldn't have liked if he did it now. So relax. This is when the old man comes out and talks to me as I'm mowing his lawn about the lawn. He ain't trying to pick up
yeah,
that mower. He just is bored. He's just
yeah,
bored. George just wants to go out and talk Star Wars as his kids. He likes talking about his shit. That's it.
yeah,
Let that
yeah.
man be. He just wants to talk shop.
Let him be. Let him be. Let him do what he got to do, man. Like, and that's just how it actually is, bro. Let it be. But yeah, man, let me know what everybody else out there thinks. I know what you think, sort of, but again, everybody usually sits around a certain space. So it's gonna be what it is. But again, hopefully some growth to come out of it. He said what he had to say. At least we know how he feels. It's out there. It's like we hadn't already known how he felt. But again, it's out there. So just let it lay. It is what it is. Moving on though, to something else again. Now, I say this because I see people like Jedi Kid so you already know how he feels about this next topic. But this individual, like again, as is rounding out her tour. Now, regardless of what you want to say about the films, when Force Awakens dropped, it was promising. It was definitely a good take on a character and what we actually saw and where it could have went. Despite what we got from The Last Jedi, despite what we actually got from Rise of Skywalker, bro, it is not the actors, and it's not the actors' fault when they're given a script and they're supposed to perform based off of direction and what's been written. From even that, bro, like, and I say this unapologetically that I love the character and the potential of Rey and where it could go. You know what I mean? If it's given a better story, I think it could be great. Daisy Ridley, who is now completing her press tour for Young Lady of the Sea in the Sea, which is based on a documentary, or it's a true story of a woman who basically, swam the what was it, the English was it the English uh
Channel?
channel or something like that? Yeah. So
Okay.
she swam the English channel basically, and also, with that, there was a lot that she went through. Again, like, men didn't want her to break that record. Also, the original the story that's based on a woman was basically poisoned by her own coach. Well, it was allegations. She said that she was, but they couldn't prove it at that time. But
Damn.
again, there's getting rave reviews off of this particular movie. When asked about the, was, Rey's story of the new Jedi Order happening, she said yes. The script, she's going to be reading the script, I think, with Stephen Knight or whatever, the writer of like Peaky Blinders.
Okay.
Again, if you saw Peaky Blinders, and you know that basically it's in good hands because he is
Yeah.
an
Peaky Blinders.
amazing.
I've been screaming Peaky Blinders for 5 years, 6 years.
Hell yeah, bro! Bro, you're the one that put me on the Peaky Blinders. You know what I
It's it's
mean?
it's one of the greatest shows of all time, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
bro. Exactly, bro. So he was the one who basically penned the script, and she's gonna be sitting down reading it with them. And here's the thing, bro. Look, it's like this, bro. Like, the sequels are the sequels. You can't change what's out there. You can't change what's been written. You can't change what's been what has been introduced. None of that. But what you can do is probably expand the character in a way, in a totally different way, where again we can get and humanize the character, giving it more flaws in the right hands. I think there's definitely potential for it. And like we've basically been saying, bro, like we said before, what may not have resonated with everybody else and with us in certain aspects may have resonated with the younger generation. That's their Star Wars. This is what
Yes.
they see. This is what they connect to. Young girls really love Rey as a character. So again, it's not going to be for everybody. But even with that, bro, there have been a lot of bigoted comments about it, and you can't just get around that. If you don't like and I'm tired of this whole Mary, whatever, it is what it is. But what do you think about her? Number one, I think her body of work and her choices in doing like a lot of these indie and independent films has been remarkable because she's been busy. She's been doing a lot. But what do you think about the potential to come back? And do you think that in the right hands and if done the right way, there can be hope for the character of Rey?
First of all, in Force Awakens, I felt like this was a very difficult task to introduce new characters going into a film where so many people just wanted to see their heroes and legends one more time. So to have not given people that, especially not giving people Luke, and instead giving them Kylo and Rey, and said, "This is what is in front of you for dinner now. Eat your
Yeah,
vegetables
yeah,
and shut up." And a lot of people had to stop and go, "Wait, this actually is kind of good. Hold up. All right, cool. We may not be getting what we thought, but we were getting some like really good stuff." I felt like in Force Awakens, her character was just absolutely like stellar. She was so dope, and she was very interesting,
yeah,
very energetic, very exciting.
yeah,
I really liked how she carried herself in the first one.
yeah.
I felt like the problems that came from the second two, they had nothing to do with her. It had to do
No.
with the writing, had to do with the decisions made.
Mhm,
I think a big part of what people were missing with her character was struggle. Like
mhm.
she didn't really lose. Everybody
Yeah,
else who's ever been through her hero journey has lost a fucking hand, and she didn't get so much as a scratch. I feel like
yeah.
they didn't do more to explain her like immense power. Like
Like her
just
actual connection to the Force.
yeah, I mean,
Like,
you can't. It's
yeah.
really tough. Like, there's one. I mean, there's a big difference between you watch Luke, who, according to Lucas, is the most powerful. Go from not being able to do anything to struggling lifting, rocks to by the third movie she's using force lightning, not force lightning. She's holding back a ship 100 miles in the air. Like we hadn't seen anyone do that yet, so it's
Yeah.
really understandable to me to give a feat like that to her as opposed to like say like no one would have thought twice if it was like Vader who did that, but like it being Rey. I mean, I would have been scratching my head if we seen Luke doing that in Return of the Jedi. I'd have been like, "Whoa, how many years passed in between these two movies? He was just having trouble lifting the X-wing up. You know what I mean? Like he just couldn't get his ship out of the water. Now
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
pulling ships down from orbit. What the
Yeah,
fuck?"
yeah, 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 yeah.
So I feel like there's writing choices that did her no favors, yo. It did her
Yeah,
no favors, and it painted a
yeah,
target on her back because obviously it's a sensitive subject. Let's
yeah,
not let's not dance around it. You
yeah,
have a you have a medium, an IP who is which has just let's just be honest. It has over time, especially how we grew up, it was mostly for boys.
yeah,
It just was.
yeah,
And strong characters were just almost always boys. And
yeah,
then almost like that, the past 5 years, 10 years, things have went from like, hey, maybe we could do this to no. go all the way to kind of compensate for all the shit that we should have been doing over the
We
years.
exactly.
So
It's like all
it's
dusted
like,
in too
oh,
quick.
like fucking that's the thing. I think that
Yeah.
that's the thing that bothers some people. It's like, okay, we can't have her even lose a fight because we're trying to show girl power here, but it's like girl power should not just be that they always win, because boys just don't always win. What you
You
should be
struggle.
trying to,
You struggle.
you
Yeah.
want to see the struggle, because it helps. I mean, every single action movie format there is the fighter is a badass and then meets someone who's way more badass than him, gets his ass whooped, and he has to go do a training sequence and
Yeah.
fucking get better and learn and learn what it means to lose, and then he comes back stronger, saves the day. Like, that's just a story as old as time, a formula as old as time. And she kind of like didn't have to do that. She just kind of was just dope, without, you didn't really kind of show it. Now we've seen Luke like struggle. We've seen Luke get his ass whooped by Vader. Man, if Kylo had whooped her ass and, in the middle film, and it was darker, and she had to train more with Luke to get better, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of
Mhm.
what people were expecting to see in order for her to come back and win. And that's kind of not what happened. So
Yeah.
it wasn't so much a we don't want to see a girl win thing. Is why? Because, and this is a this is a thing that does happen in Hollywood. There's a lot of times the female, like, look at Black Widow. She was Wolverine in that film. She didn't get a scratch on her, and she was indestructible. There's a lot of times in that where Hollywood says, all right, we can't just have her win. We have to have her like unstoppable to
Yeah.
kind of overcompensate, because we won't really want to push that this is you go girl. But like, man, the best female story, like you could tell Sarah Connor, like, you know, isn't indestructible. She could get
Yeah.
hurt. Ripley could get hurt. Like, there's these moments like Kill Bill. She got her ass whooped before she came back and won. There's these things that I didn't add up with that. But I feel like if the writer for this upcoming film maybe kind of gives her some growth as opposed to just power growth, then maybe that we might get to see a little bit more acceptance of her, progression,
Mhm.
as the story goes on. And I
Yeah.
think that they just kind of really hurt her momentum with
Yeah.
The Last Jedi, and especially Return of Skywalker. And I feel like that is a salvageable problem, because Daisy is dope. Daisy is an amazing actress. She's been putting in a lot of work doing a
Yeah.
lot of great independent art house type films, and I feel like she really does bring something to the IP that is, impressive. And I'm looking forward to the film. I just feel like they have to try to get exactly they have to try to get
Yep.
away from some of the
Yep.
invisibility, because you want to be able to relate. It's the villain is supposed to be the one, like, how can you possibly beat him?
Yeah.
That's not the objective. I mean, there's a reason why people say Superman is hard to write, because he's too powerful. You
Yeah.
don't want it's hard to have your protagonist be OP. The villain's supposed to be OP, and the protagonist has to come up with a way to beat them. So it's tough. So it's going to be an uphill battle for some people to get around that and get back on board with how they felt
Yeah.
with her with Force Awakens. But I feel like that's possible if it's a strong script. So
Yeah.
hopefully it is.
That's and you're I couldn't I couldn't say it any better than that, bro. I definitely couldn't say it any better than what you just now said it just now, bro, because it does make sense. I think, one of the biggest things that, especially for right now, um, I think more so than any, the writing is what is going to be the most important. Yeah, Mr. Knight doing it, bro. You already know he's going to be incredible. Peaky Blinders had some of the best writing I've ever actually seen.
I mean, Peaky Blinders, you
So
literally could just watch people just shooting shit for 60 minutes, and you felt like you
and you
were
felt like
thoroughly
it was
entertained.
nothing, exactly. And I think that basically with this, like, and I like what Mark P said, no Skywalker, so it will be off to a good start. And that's the thing is, like, I hope that, you know, again, I think there just needs all and again, yeah, and everybody knows I am unapologetically a Race fan. I love the character. I love the progression of the character. It wasn't her fault. What was, and again, it's all about communications. You had two directors that were not in direct communication. You had The Last
In a
Jedi,
trilogy. It's
exact
insane.
in the
It's
trilogy,
insane.
bro. You had The Last Jedi that was released, and then you had The Rise of Skywalker, which what he tried to do was completely debunk everything that was done in the Last Jedi. Purposely did it. You seen what he did, like, Kylo's helmet was destroyed, but yet he found a reason to bring it back. I'm like, what sense does that make for you to do that, bro?
You
Like,
know what
but
it felt
that's
like?
what they did.
It felt like politics. Where like I'm gonna spend my
Yeah.
whole term vetoing out the shit, that executive legislation over to get rid of the shit that the previous president did. Instead of doing any new shit, I'm just working on getting rid of the shit he changed. And then the next president comes, just puts the shit back that I changed from that's all you're doing is just playing back and forth politics bullshit. It's to go into a trilogy after all that time, not on the same page, is absolutely insane. It's
Yeah,
one of the craziest Hollywood stories ever.
it's not, bro. And hopefully, where they're going now. What they said that this film is almost going to be like a self-contained film. Now, who knows where it's going to go after that? But I'm up for it, bro. I'm up to see what actually happens. I hope and pray they bring John Boyega back, because it would make sense. She's even hoping that John Boyega comes back. He did slightly change his tune and say he'd be open. He did say he'd be open for Star Wars. It's slightly different right now, so who knows where it's going to go. I just hope when they bring him back, they do him some justice. I hope it's a well-written story, and I would definitely want to actually see it, bro, because I think it's
They owe
what
John.
they owe John a lot. Bring back Kylo's helmet, new toys, royalties. You already know, bro. That's how it was. Jedi kid don't understand why people hate the Skywalker saga so much when you didn't even get a chance to see it. Unbelievable. I think basically it's because it's over the years, and I think right now it's done because a lot of it has been recycled within the last couple of films. You know what I mean? I like Rey, but I didn't agree with Kylo, the Rey Kylo. That is the one thing I did not like. I did not like the what was it, the Reylo thing. That's what they called it, the Reylo dynamic. I didn't think that. I thought that very end was forced. They didn't need to have that. It wasn't something that was necessarily needed. I just felt as though
It felt
that
like
aspect,
fan fiction.
yeah, bro, because everybody was talking about it, so they forced that.
Yep.
Write her like the Sentry, like reconciling her lineage. Yeah, like something like that would be definitely dope. Like just reconciling that, because have it to where as the galaxy is looking at her now, knowing that she's a Palpatine, like, yo, we can't trust you. You know what I mean? And just having her having to, if they know, because again, it's like a lot of people that did not know. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But look, I trust the process. I trust it when I see it. I'll be in the theater to basically watch it all day. Yes. Put your shirt back on. Put your shirt back on, man. Yeah, you already know, bro.
Cover up that wide chest.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll definitely see it, and we'll see what they actually see, or what happens going forward, man. I'm psyched about it, and I hope that when it is released, that people just give it a chance. Just that's all I'm saying. Give it a chance. Let's see before you jump to conclusions, before you jump to that space where you're just like, it's a bag of shit. Oh, I'm not going to see it, because this next IP, bro, and I gotta it's listen. I just want to say, like, right off the top, and then I'm gonna ask you, Vinny, how you felt about it. Anytime that when we want to make a point, when we as people feel as though we need to make a point because we don't like something, you have to make a point to review bomb an IP before it even gets a chance to make its appearance or its debut. Like, I think, and you know what, at this particular point, I don't even blame them for doing it. I blame places like IMDb or Rotten Tomato that even gives them the opportunity to do it, bro. Like, literally, like it doesn't make any sense to me. And but at the same time, they can't really control it. But it's just the individuals that have this mentality that if they don't like it, they just can do whatever they want to do, review bomb, say the same shit. And there's been a lot of jargon that's been going around, and I don't even want to, Vinny, to be quite honest, it's like it's so much that we know that's out there. I don't even want to jump into it. But let me ask you, because like I said, you got a chance to see the first 2 episodes.
Yes.
What were your thoughts about it, bro?
First, I wanted to say I felt it was a missed opportunity that at no point over the first 2 episodes did she point out any safety hazards despite her name being OSHA. That bothered me.
They didn't.
So,
All right, go ahead.
so that was my first thought. Who named this girl OSHA? What the fuck were they thinking, yo?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, shit. Uh-huh.
all right. I was in a weird, unusual circumstance because, of course, I usually don't watch trailers. So going into it, I had this misconception that this was a story about, cis perspective story. So I first thing I had to get used to was that um, this wasn't a cis story like I was kind of hoping for. I mean, maybe it will turn into one, and we might see it from the perspective of May, but we're still just getting a typical Jedi or regular Star Wars story, and I was kind of hoping for a Sith driven show. I felt like that would be very interesting.
Mhm.
We're kind of not getting that, and what we're getting instead is another kind of sequel driven where the Jedi are now once again being pointed out of their hubris of the things that they were wrong. We've seen a little bit in the prequels too of how cocky they were and how blind they were to a lot of things and how far back that went, not just during the rise of Palpatine, of that this has been something that the Jedi were kind of blind to for many not even one, no clipboard, nothing, just 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 not. I mean, fires on ships. Nobody.
Yeah.
There was no report. Nothing. Anyways, so I feel like that was okay. Something I had to get used to. I first of all, the Carrie-Anne Moss fight. Oh my god, that shit was incredible.
It was fire.
Shades of shades of Matrix. Um, it was really impressive. At first it bothered me she didn't have a lightsaber to fight her with, but then I realized that's supposed to be part of the her trials. I suppose that she has to try to beat these Jedi with no
Without
weapons,
a
but
saber, yeah.
without a saber, which obviously is a challenge because these aren't fresh faced Jedi. These are trained Jedi that somehow she has to outsmart as she did with her first fight. And then of course you see that she has a twin, and that's another whole another person. We get introduced to this version of the new toy, like what was the toy that Leia had, like everyone has some kind of like add-on toy, um and we get to see some very cool Jedi on the show. I love Soul is incredible.
Soul is amazing, bro. I love
He's
Master Soul, bro.
I mean, to the point where it took me a minute before I remembered this is my man from Squid Game. Like I knew him from somewhere, but he's so different in this, and that he learned English just 4 months before filming this,
Just for this show, bro.
just for this show. I mean, he's absolutely fire, and I love that he feels kind of like what is very Qui-Gon esque, and of course that's who he modeled his character after,
Exactly. Yeah.
and it comes through full fledged, and I feel like that's kind of the epitome of what a Jedi is. You know what I mean? Just very very humble, very soft, but very wise, and but can fuck you up if he needs to. A lot of Force Tai Chi that we kind of seen first with Vader, in Kenobi, and now we're seeing more of it with
Yeah,
a lot of Force martial arts, which is super okay with me. I'm loving the martial arts in this show. The martial arts
yeah,
in the show is fantastic.
yeah,
The application is kind of like how there's martial arts mixed with the gunplay in some movies, and they call it gung fu. I love this.
yeah,
I love this force kung fu.
yeah.
So I love the the crouching tiger, hidden dragon flow and
Elements, and
feel and
which
element.
Leslie Headland said that she does. That's what a lot of this was patterned after. So yeah,
Absolutely, you can definitely get that vibe and that feel from it, and in that respect, I definitely love it. Um, then there's I also liked the I also liked that there was a bit of like mystery as far as like what did they do, like what did they do that was so fucked up that
yeah,
you were able to hide from them. You have a whole another master. All the mystery of what is going on, I find interesting because it's not just a cut and dry. Here's a good guy. Here's a bad guy. Go
hmm
solve it. Um, but then there's other things that are valid issues. I feel like there's some production issues that don't quite hit the mark. Sometimes you're watching it and it does feel like a cable TV show. It doesn't always feel like a film in the way that Mandalorian usually does, or like say when you're watching Andor, it feels like you are watching just a movie that just happens to be shown on TV. Like that is super ridiculously great production value, and a lot of times in this, the production value just doesn't quite seem like up to usual par, and there's some. And I do feel like there's some other minor story issues that is really kind of hard uh, to complain about until I know more about the story. Like some of the stuff just doesn't add up. Like for instance, just knowing what we know about the Jedi for Torben to have regressed that way. It's like, all right, that is so uncharacteristic of a Jedi that he would not only go into basically a imposed coma of sorts for such a long period of time, and then on top of that to kill himself.
hmm
That seems very unlikely, especially considering if like he didn't kill himself until she came back. So what was triggering enough to have caused that kind of reaction? So at this point, I feel like there's just a lot of questions that um, I don't want to like shit on anything till I know more of the answers. And
but that's the thing, right?
I feel
It's
like
like,
you
yeah,
go into this if you already are ready to like hate it. These things that might wind up being valid criticisms that they don't have answers for, that is confusing now and is confusing later. Then maybe you can bitch about it. But like,
to do
there's
that
definitely
now.
definitely there's there's definitely shady or questionable things that I'm trying to reserve judgment on based on the fact that there's clearly setting up a ranging panning story. But I think that um, there's also not necessarily a lot of wow moments that hook and intrigue the way some of the other shows have. The first show was pretty good. The second show was pretty good too, but I wouldn't say either of the episodes were like incredible or phenomenal, or I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm just kind of like interested, but I'm not blown away. And that's okay. Not every single Star Wars show has to knock me off my
Mhm.
ass, and that's fine. I'm just going into this like, I mean, other shows like Mandalorian first episode is like I had to watch it again. Like it was blew me away. Not every show is gonna fucking blow you away. That's
Not every
okay.
show. Not every
But I
show.
also feel like
Andor didn't blow people away with the first episode, bro.
exactly.
It didn't.
It took
It
time.
took it was a build up, and
Yep.
that's the thing is like you had to, bro. Here's the thing: 2 episodes in, right? We're two episodes in. My thing is, I can see people writing off a show once we've gotten to its conclusion, and you just didn't think any of it made sense.
Yeah.
This wasn't a cinematic experience. This
Exactly.
is a streaming show that only has 2 fucking episodes. 2
Yeah.
episodes, bro. Now, the thing is, Vinny, you didn't watch the trailer. So I don't really want to say much, but there's a lot of what you just now said that will be explained because there's a lot of bouncing back and forth. And
Yeah.
they're going to explain it because I didn't. Here's the thing, bro. One of the biggest aspects of this film is a lot of this stuff is based on the High Republic. I've read the High Republic books. I have them all here. Okay. So it's based on the interpretation of the High Republic. The Jedi back then were revered. They were like godlike figures, monk-like figures, but at the same time, again, there's a lot that happened that got them to this point. Now, with Jedi back during the High Republic period, this form of hand-to-hand combat was not foreign. They only drew their lightsabers as a defense to disarm. There was never force-like attack. So basically, everything that Yoda said before, it was for defense, never for offense. And that's the way it's displayed here. So for people to have or be upset about the force, fool, or them basically using the force, it doesn't. If you haven't read those books, you're not going to necessarily understand it. But I think that basically, again, it's there for you to basically embellish. And I think they're doing a good job because here's my question. And I had this question, Vinny, and I was thinking about this earlier. Say, for instance, we never got the prequels. We never got the OG trilogies, and we never got the sequels. So we knew nothing about the Jedi until now. Modern times, they release. This is the very first time that we have a Star Wars IP. We can only go off of this, right? Now, this is something that took place earlier on, 10 years. It was basically 100 years before the Phantom Menace and what we know now. So a lot is basically taking place. Yoda's seen a lot. He's been there for a while, right? So he's seen a lot. He knows a lot. Bro, the thing is, the Jedi then, and we know that there are certain aspects of the Force that are different. Jedi Order, and there's so many different factions that have changed over the years. So to have this high level of criticism for this iteration of the Jedi during this time, again, we are building up to something, and him killing himself or murdering himself is because of guilt. He knew that he was going to have to atone. And who knows what went on when this thing, and we're going to get to that particular point. But my thing is, people have been writing this show off before the season even began. Bro, it's just starting. Like, it's only 2 episodes. And that's what leads me to believe that there was already an agenda before the show even started, bro. And that's hard. It's hard for me. Yeah. And I'm not saying it about everybody, but I'm saying it about the majority of individuals out there. There's a small minority, but the majority of individuals is crazy. It's insane.
Absolutely something that, as much as it's frustrating, it's something that Disney is going to at least have to consider, that there is a very vocal minority, or I'm not sure how big of an effect it really is on the numbers of these things, but there's absolutely something to be said for the fact that they have a decent portion of the viewing public who expects things to look and be a certain way that it was when they grew up, and it's now not that way, and there is more focus catering to a minority than there used to be, and they feel it's at the expense of disorientating the majority. There is something to be said for how do you have your cake and eat it too? How do you diversify and be progressive without pissing off people who only have like a minimal tolerance for things that aren't what they're used to? And it's kind of shitty that you have to worry about that when writing stories or casting actors, but you also have to admit that they are focusing on those things the other way when they're writing stories and casting actors. So if they can say, hold up, we have to make sure there's this box, and this box checked, you can also stop and say, hey, are we checking too many boxes that we're going to have people just shitting on this before it even comes out? That's a fucked up way to look at it, but it's also something where you're looking at metrics when you make these shows now. And I hate to say it, it sucks, but it is absolutely true that when they're writing these stories, there's a part of their board, maybe not the creator who's writing it, maybe not even the director, but there's someone in one of the producers, somebody in that office who's saying that, hey, we want to make this marketable to China, we want to make this marketable to India, we want to make this marketable to Europe, and we need these things to sell in that market there, to sell in this market here. We want to make this be able to be popular in the red states. We want this to be hot in the blue states. All those things are factored in when they write these stories. And I guarantee you, there's meetings where they tell this writer, hey, all right, there's no white men in this show. We got to have some because fucking racists will shit on it. Hey, there's no Asian people in this show. We want to be able to push this in China. What do you like? Can you switch Saul to an Asian actor? Oh, okay. Those are conversations that I guarantee you happen. So they unfortunately have to also take the time to be like, all right, are we making this too nuanced in this where we're writing ourselves out of the majority of the country, relating to these characters? And it's a shitty thing to have to fucking juggle and deal with, but they are juggling and dealing with that to make sure that they're including trans characters and lesbian characters, black characters. They're making effort to include that, and then in some ways they're gonna have to make sure that they're not going too far so that way they don't piss people off. It's fucked up, and it's a shitty conversation that has to be had with shit like this, because what should be important is the story. And you have stuff like you have properties where they don't worry about any of that shit. They just put it out, and if people like it, they like it. But I think it's something that Star Wars has taken the initiative to try to appeal to different demographics, to have genres and IPs that work in different regions, just like Marvel has done. Just like Marvel has like, hey, we gotta sell some shit in India, let's do Miss Marvel. We gotta sell some shit in China, let's make that Shang-Chi movie. Disney's doing the same shit, and it's just the writing has to be there so you can get away with it. Now, if they made Shang-Chi and it was corny ass kung fu and their story was whack and no one cared about the villain, it would be like, man, this fucking pandering bullshit just to sell tickets in China. But it was dope, so no one cared. You have to make it dope, and you have to make it fire. You have to make it great writing, so that way, if the whole damn cast is LGBTQ, like, you're still gonna be like, oh, I can't even say shit. This is incredible. Look at them, like they're going off. So that's something that is solved, just like by anything is solved by winning. You put out dope content, you put out great action sequences, you put out good cinematography and writing, and you can get away with these things. So I feel like they have an uphill battle with some of the choices they've picked with casting and theme. And then, the actors are not doing them any favors with these press runs talking about Anakin blowing up the Death Star and other shit where they don't know what they're talking about. Yeah. But it's tough. I will say this, though. Yoda kind of gets on my nerves. He is like, he doesn't seem like he fits. And why would they not give up with that haircut, bro? Why would they not stop?
I don't know, bro.
We
talked about this yesterday. Like, they keep giving them.
Stop giving them.
It's like
that haircut.
Everybody has that Killmonger haircut, bro. Not all of us have that. Like, we don't.
None of them. Like, no. I've never met a black person ever with the Killmonger joint, bro. Ever.
Yeah. Here's the thing, bro. I say this, bro, because this comes up a lot, and I hate it, bro. Like, I hate it a lot because regardless, bro, I feel as though even when good stories are written, this ignorance and this blatant ignorance, bigotry, and racism is still going to exist in this IP, and it's unfortunate because that's just basically the way it is. You can write a good story about a woman, right? And here's the thing, because I heard this too, because I know a lot of people are going to say it, and I'm going to basically fact check a lot of people on this and do your research. People were like, well, hey, they gave us Ripley and Aliens, and there was no problem. People loved that character. Check your resources, because Sigourney Weaver herself talked about how she was bashed for being a female lead in that film. Now, mind you, There was no social media back then, but there was a lot of hate mail that was actually sent out to her that she got for playing that particular role because they felt as though everything was too easy for a female back then. She made it a point, do your research. I'm pretty sure you can actually find it. Carrie Fisher. Okay, yes. Princess Leia, she was a strong woman. Everybody loved her. Okay, yeah. But she got hate mail because they felt as though she was too fat. They felt as though she needed to basically lose weight and if she wasn't a good enough heroine. And on top of that, she was even called annoying. Now, mind you, there was no social media. There was no digital world. So, of course, you didn't know that. But she said it. She even said it in her damn book. So, this is what I'm saying. When you're using these arguments, go back and realize that it doesn't matter because if we loved those characters back in the day, yes, we did. But they received a lot of scrutiny as fucking well. They did so. Even Linda Hamilton, bro, she talked about it when she basically played the character in Terminator, Sarah Connor. People disliked her at first because it was like, nah, come on now, for real, this, that, and the third. She received hate mail for being a female in a female lead. Yeah, they warmed up to it over time, but in the very beginning, it was hard for her. It doesn't matter. We didn't. That's what I'm saying, bro.
I think that's I think the point to take from that is, I feel like people have to shut off and disconnect from social media sometimes.
Yeah,
because
they do.
We're not meant to know what everyone in the world thinks. I think that's something that is psychologically harmful to have to understand and feel and emote and empathize with the entire world all at the same time about every single thing that happens in this planet. It's insane. I don't need to know what everybody hates and everybody loves all the fucking time. And it's cool to connect and to gauge how people are feeling about some stuff, but it's so much feedback and it's so overwhelming that it's a good thing that we came up when we did, where we were able to make our own opinions of things and not be influenced by what the whole world felt, because a lot of times to you, me, to our circle of people we go to movies with or talk with, a lot of times we're on the same page. Sometimes we're not on the same page, but generally almost 100% of the time, if there's somebody who disagrees with the majority, it's like, yeah, I see what y'all saying, but this is how I took it. And it's not like hateful. It's just, oh, I just didn't vibe with it the way y'all did. So we have disagreements, and it's always healthy. It's always healthy discourse. It's always positive. Ultimately it's positive. But when you take in what the whole world feels about shit, there's going to be so many negative people, louder than all the positive people in the room. And negativity is always louder.
Yeah.
Because that's how they feel. That it's always the most ignorant people that's the loudest in the room, feeling like that's how you win the argument, is just yelling and screaming and bitching.
Yeah.
So I try not to let that shit in, man. I know that I could check any forum on anything. You could say, the sun is hot, and people would tell you the opposite just to be contrarian.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. You're 100% right, bro. That's just how it is. People will find reasons to be that way, bro. And I think that a lot of it is with intent, and they'll always hide. And you see a lot of people that hide behind, man, no, it's not that we hate women. It's just you don't write a good enough story, this, that, and the third. But it's those same people that I see in other forums talking about, okay, here goes this woke shit and this, that. Yo, come on. Yo, make up your mind. Make up your mind. Is it the story, or you don't like the simple fact that the story is being told from the perspective of a female character? Make up your mind, because you can't be both ways. Like, don't make up that's my point, bro. Don't hide behind that. Stand on business with your truth. If you don't like a female lead, you just don't like a female lead. I can respect you more for that than to just say something completely off track and I check you on that shit and know that you're lying about it. And that's what I'm saying, bro. But here's the thing. Even us, people, I I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. I'm enjoying the mystery aspect of the show. I'm
Hmm.
enjoying that now. It's the who's who did what. Now we're left to speculate on what we think. You know what I mean? Like, do we think that this person was involved? Are we questioning this person as a Jedi? Are they making like just mistakes over top of mistakes? Or is their hubris getting in the way? You know, now you're questioning a lot of things that are basically going on. And I'm interested to see where it's going. I'm going to wait, and I would like to definitely reserve my judgment until after the season is
Yeah.
over to find out whether or not it connected the dots and if it basically holds up. And I will be critical if there's certain things or certain aspects about the show that I didn't like. But for right now, there are a lot of things that I think is cool. I like the simple fact that we don't see Yoda, and I hope we don't. I like the simple fact that there's no familiar faces in this, and I hope they don't talk about it. I don't want to see a damn Plagueis. I don't want to see Tenebrous. I don't want to see any of them. I want something completely new. Don't connect those dots. I don't need to see it because that's when we get stuck in this box where the galaxy isn't big enough. You want us to think it's this small because all you're doing is thinking about these legacy characters. And no, I don't want them, bro. I want something completely different. If it's 100 years before Phantom
Right.
Menace, I want to feel like it is, bro. I want
That's
to feel
something
that.
that I had a little bit of problem with. I didn't feel like there was I felt like this could have took place during the prequels or during the OG trilogy. I didn't feel like it was really I think Coruscant's buildings were like a little smaller. I think that was intentional, but I felt like most of the other aspects, I mean, you had the same looking holograms, you had the same you had
Yeah.
droids. You had, you know what I mean. It felt like it could have took place around the same time. At first I thought Metnex were because there wasn't astromechs yet, and then they mentioned, hey, why don't you have astromechs working instead? And I was like, wait, well then, yeah, why are they out there? But I mean, that's some stuff that might be explained more later, or we might see different things. Also, different planets are evolved different ways, so it's nitpicky at best, but that's also something that this show has had its hands filled dealing with, because if somebody can't come up with something that's like a valid criticism, they come up with some silly ass shit like, why is there a spaceship fire in space? It's like almost every single Star Wars movie has had some kind of fire or sound or explosion in space. It's Star Wars, bro. Like they
Uh-huh.
can move shit with their mind. You have to have some level of disbelief,
Yeah.
suspension of disbelief, in order to watch
Yeah.
this shit. I've seen countless posts about there being a fire on a spaceship, and how could that happen? It's a space, bro. There's lightsabers.
Yeah, bro. Like there's literally lightsabers. And
Ugh.
bro, literally, bro, you didn't complain about a mech droid using, basically a mech droid using magnetic boots to repair you know what I mean, a ship in mid-space, bro. You didn't complain about none of that. You know what I mean? Sound in space, none of it. But is this again, you're finding reasons and like this really it just blows my mind, bro. Like
I mean, Han Solo walked around on an asteroid with just a mat. Like, he should have been dead.
on that, you know what I mean? And
He was
but
out in
no,
space. He was out in space, bro. It's like, come on now.
bro, like literally, bro,
He should have
like
froze.
exactly, bro. Like literally, them being out in pitch cold like that. Number one, I didn't see like what time did you actually have to put up like any type of protective gear out
Yeah.
on Hoth when it
Yo,
was
they grabbed
freezing,
yo, they
bro?
grabbed COVID masks and went outside like it was nothing, yo. They
It
just
was nothing. But that's what I'm saying,
yeah,
bro. Like, if you look back at Star Wars back then, it was acceptable because it was a suspension of disbelief. On top of that, was something
that.
completely
Now see,
new.
and that is where, being in our right boat age, we think back to what George always says, like, yo, this is for kids, because kids aren't going to be sitting there thinking, nitpicking, breaking down every single minor thing, like kind of like during the Revenge of the Sith, when people were watching that saying, oh, they should have died because of the fumes from the magma, and I'm like, and then you have other people going, nah, they used the force to repel the heat as they were fighting. I'm like, Bro, it just looked cool. That's it. The floor is lava. The floor is lava. And you're having a fight. We're having a fight and the floor is lava. That's all. How many kids play the floor is lava and you're having a fight on fucking rocks? That's it.
That's it. It was just cool as shit, bro. Can't you just live with the simple fact that the shit was cool as fuck, bro? Like, just let it be cool, bro. Like that. Bro, it looked Benny 2024. That's it. This shit was cool as fuck, bro. That's it. We got a chance to see some cool ass shit, bro. Like, let it be that.
Yeah, I know he was inside of a worm, y'all, but y'all get my point. He was still in space.
It was in space. It was even inside of a worm. A worm
because
has
the worm is in space
with acid, bro. The Millennium Falcon should have been fucked up, bro. Like straight up. If you think about all of that, bro, like think about this, the logic behind it. But who gives a fuck? It was some cool shit.
Cool, man.
That's it.
What if you think they're in a tunnel in an asteroid, but yet they're in a worm? Book it.
Just book that shit, bro.
Fuck it, man. Let's fuck it.
It's just fuck it.
It's for 10-year-olds, man. Like fuck it, let's just go.
Bro, let it go. Because the thing is, we were too small to realize and weren't really smart back then to understand. And we just loved it, embraced it because it was something fucking new and it was fun, bro. Like fun. That's all it was. It was just fun and we received it that way. Who cares, bro? Like, who fucking cares? And that's what it should be about. But we have grown into this space where all we do is pick it's like so nitpicky. Like we pick, oh, no, this is not a Jedi. That's not what a Jedi would do. This is 100 years before the IP that you fucking know right now. You don't know what the fuck they did back then unless you read it. If you read the High Republic, you'll understand half this shit. And I'm not telling you got to read. But shit, bro, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. I'm not the same person I was 20. A lot of my thoughts and everything changes. Why can't they evolve, bro?
My man had the dopest sleep schedule ever. Don't wake me for shit was a person is that motherfucker.
Bro,
don't wake me for shit. You can't.
For 10 years.
Don't wake me for nothing. Let me sleep.
For 10 years.
For 10 years.
He meditated for 10 fucking years, bro. 10 years meditating on something. And you know what? I'm good with it. I'm cool with that. Because his sleep ethics, he ain't had to pay no bills for 10 fucking years, bro. Nope. He didn't have to worry about no drama, nothing. I'm just like, yo, damn, your stamina must be on point. You ain't had no ass. He ain't beat his meat. You know he ain't beat his meat. 10 years, bro, he ain't even think about nothing.
Why do you think he was so powerful?
yo, hell yeah, that took out all energy, bro. Like,
you know how they say don't fuck before a fight?
Yeah.
Night before a big match? Man, for 10 years. For 10 years, bro.
10 years.
Yo, it's like the episode of Seinfeld.
Years, bro.
Yo, it's like the episode of Seinfeld where George stopped worrying about getting asked. All of a sudden, he was like answering Jeopardy questions. He was just like omnipotent. Like he had all power because he wasn't worried about no cheeks.
No cheeks at all, bro.
Yep.
I am the force and the force is with me. Yo, bro. Straight up. Like 10 years, bro. You got all that pent up aggression. You're going to be super strong, bro. Yep. Straight up. Like super strong. Ain't got nothing else to do. But again, him being that sleep for so long, coming out and just seeing her and was like, yo, I knew you would come one day. I knew this would happen, bro. And he just gave up and was like, all right, it's going to happen. And living with that guilt for so long, that's probably why he went into meditation. That's why he probably isolated himself from so many people. And I believe that is a story that's going to be told going forward. We'll find that out. And I can't wait. I'm just saying, like, look, folks, give it a damn chance, bro. Just give it a chance. Give it a chance to play out. And then at the end of the season, if you don't like it, all right, then cool. That's just the way it is. Don't wake me, I'm dreaming. That's right, Christopher Williams. You know that all day. Exactly why. A distraction from the pain of the truth. That's it, bro. Again, just wait until the end of the season and then tell us why you don't tell it. You know what? Wait till the end of the season and then tell us why you mad, son. That's all you got to do. Tell me why you mad at that point, bro. But don't. I don't know. So look. Is it a slow crawl? Admittedly so. But I think the buildup is going to make so much more sense. And I'm that person. I don't like you to give me everything at the start of the season because then I have fear that it's going to die off. Yeah. I like a buildup. I like basically, the only thing that I am big mad about this show, there's only one thing, bro. You can't kill off Trinity in the first 10, 15 minutes of the show, bro. Come on, brother.
That hurt.
That hurt. I love me some Carrie-Anne Moss, bro.
I thought she was gonna be around a minute because that's my girl.
Yeah, bro. Like you can't. Come on, bro. Like,
especially considering she is such a wise actress. Yeah. Like every role she's ever had feels like she could school you. She's so she has so much presence. Yeah, I was hurt she's going too, man. I was like, come on, man.
Come on, bro. My favorite character so far, hands down, bro. Hands down is Soul. I love Soul, bro.
Soul is fire.
Soul is fire, bro. He is everything that I want in a character. He's everything that I want in a Jedi. The philosophics, bro. Just the conversation. His thoughts on the Force. And you can tell that he's even living with a lot of regret as well, bro. But, come on, man. And we about to see a Wookiee Jedi, bro. I can't wait to see what that goes.
I want to see a Wookiee Jedi, but that scene felt so... Oh, man, they got to work on... or get him out of that that planet or wherever he's at. It looked like he was on...
Kashyyyk?
I don't know. No, it looked like he was on like a stage, it seemed like it was a play. Like it just wasn't. It didn't feel like it was poor production in that scene. They could have done a little bit better. It looked bad. But my question is why? And maybe this is just me, but my man who made the poison for May, tell me why. I was like, yo, does Ezra Miller have a twin?
Yo. He looked just like fucking Ezra Miller, bro.
I couldn't shake it. I just kept waiting for this motherfucker to run.
He looked just like fucking Ezra Miller, bro.
Like him. I really thought I did a double take. I was like, is that him?
Bro, just like him. Bro. I saw it and I was like, yo.
That's Ezra Miller. I don't care.
Yo, I was thinking the same thing, bro. Bro, I was thinking the same thing, bro. The same exact thing. I was like, yo, this motherfucker look just like Ezra. Especially, I'm gonna show you,
like him,
bro. And you probably thinking about the same scene, bro. Hold on, bro. If this ain't Ezra Miller characteristics right here, bro, his everything. I thought it was fucking. I was like, yo, this dude acts just like fucking. Yeah, he does, bro. He did. He definitely did.
Exactly, Rez. Barry messing with them timelines.
He did, bro. Barry messing with them timelines. He definitely did. He's the Asian Filipino Arab, Arab. Yeah, he is. That's what he looked just like, bro.
I was like, yo, this is
wild. He did. He definitely did, bro. I was like, wow. But I mean, again, bro, I want to give. I definitely want to give this show its chance, and I definitely want to give it its chance to grow and to see where it actually goes from here. And I think, we just have to wait. It's a waiting period. You know what I mean? It's definitely a waiting period to see how it's going to be, and how it's going to. You can't judge it off of two. I firmly believe you cannot judge this off of 2 episodes, bro. I mean, what did we think? And let's be real, bro. Let's be critical. Be a critical thinker when you think about this, bro. What did motherfuckers think about Game of Thrones first episode?
I wouldn't compare it to that. That first episode was fire.
Bro, it was a slow crawl. The first 2 episodes, it was to me, it was slow.
Really? I felt like
it took me a minute.
Yeah.
It did.
I loved
I
it from
liked
the
it,
start.
but it took me a minute to bleed into it, bro. It did. But once I got past that first episode and I got into it, I was cool. I was like, yeah, let's go. But it was just the first episode for me that was a little bit slow. It was a teeny bit slow for me, bro. And it may not have been that way for everybody else, but for me, it was a little slow. It was a little slow. So I don't know. I didn't. They show plenty of. Yeah. So
That helps.
again,
That helps.
yeah.
I want to see. I want to see more with her master to explain why he had the confidence that she could beat these motherfuckers without a weapon.
Who?
May's master.
More, yeah, he wants to see her.
That's
do
what
it
I
for the
mean. I
test.
want to see what. I hope they explain how he feels that she could accomplish beating not just like clearly powerful Jedi without a weapon.
But you think it's because, and this is what I was thinking too. Do you think it's because they know, and even May knows, that the Jedi will not brandish their sabers unless it's the intent to kill at that point, right? So she knows that, again, attacking her using, again, when you're attacking her and with their hubris thinking that they could disarm her or whatever, you know, she's thinking that she may have more of a chance. And on top of that, she's trying to see, and it's a test. We already know it's basically a test, but I think it's more to it than what we actually know. And that's why I'm waiting to get more in depth on the story and where it's going to actually go. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, bro.
It should be very interesting. I definitely am intrigued. I can't wait to see, where they're going with it, because I feel like that's obviously part of the draw of the show is the mystery involved. So
he said they will rewrite the Jedi code after this show. Lightsabers come out ASAP from now on. Oh, you know what? And I didn't even Charlie, I didn't see that, bro.
Because nowadays they kind of write the Jedi like cops. So now it's gonna be like man, shoot that motherfucker now. Like that's fucked up. That's no more tasers, just shoot him.
Yeah. May's trying to get to each Jedi's weakness. I believe that, bro. Like, it's just, again, she used like with what is, I keep forgetting her Jedi name.
Carrie-Anne Moss.
Carrie-Anne Moss's character was, hold on, I think she was Master what was she? She was Master, I forget her fucking name. If everybody out there knows it, I keep, because I always fumble over her name. She was Master, Indara. So she was Master Indara. So she played with Indara's empathy, because she knew that with Indara, she would try her best to save the civilian. So she played on that aspect of it. Whereas with the next Jedi Master, she played on his guilt.
You know what bothered me about that? It was like she outsmarted Indara and like looked powerful in that fight, and then just like out of nowhere, like they switch it and it's May, and they capture her and the ship goes down and she just kind of like hangs out on the ship, and it's just like, why would you? That's like if you're in a cop car and it crashes, you just stay there for a couple weeks, just like looking for food and shit. Like, go,
just go, get out
of there.
And the only other thing that I thought about too, though, was, if you have somebody who's suspected and you had the Jedi who had to retrieve them, I just felt as though in that aspect of it, she should have been at the utmost importance that they had to stay around to make, especially if she's a former Jedi. Mm-hmm. You don't just put her on a rig with other prisoners. You want to kind of just make that. I mean, but I get it might have been a prison transport, and that's what I was looking at. It was a prison transport. They felt as though that she was And she did show that she wasn't as connected to the Force, and I'm glad they did that. That's what I was so happy about, that she disconnected herself from the Force so she doesn't have that connection, that strong connection like she normally would. So I'm definitely glad they played that up. I
Yep,
did that.
it's interesting because it's they're, but I mean that's the thing that's they're the way the fights are set up. It's
Remember the time period, Jedi kid. This is 100 years before, and this is basically the High Republic. It's actually almost the fall of the High Republic, and they had a totally different code, man. It wasn't, again, when Yoda always talks about never use it for offense, it's always defense, and that's it, to protect yourself. So of course, they're not gonna, brandish it unless they have to. So we got to kind of look at it from a different set of eyes. Everything that you know about the Jedi now didn't exist back then. It wasn't the same thing, especially if you read the High Republic.
Yeah, they're definitely unique fights that we've seen so far. So I'm definitely looking forward to more fights and more layers peeled back of what's going on. Yeah, the
Yeah.
situations are pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the sea droids, bro. That was super dope. But you have the sea droids, but you also lock you know what I mean? Like you had like a tech wizard, like what was I want to call it? He was almost like Lobot. He almost seemed like Lobot from Empire. So you had like a Lobot-esque individual who knew how to do it. He should have been disarmed before he got on the ship. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, it is like you said, it was just some cool shit, bro. It's Star Wars.
That's it.
Not everything is going to make sense. You just got to rock with it and let it be that. I just don't understand all the hate around this show. I don't care about what the actors, directors said. I'm here for Star Wars as long as it's good, and I'm all for it. Like Rogue One, Mando Tales of the Jedi. Exactly, bro. I'm right there with you, I Am Legend. There is no hate. It should be about the enjoyment of something that we love so much and not pick it apart in the very beginning, and we haven't seen the entire season, bro. And I think a lot of it, like you said, is hatred towards diversity in some aspect of it, and also because of the showrunner. That started improving because you see it in a whole bunch of comments. Now, that's not everybody, but it is a strong sentiment of individuals. She needs a midichlorian transplant. That's funny. But I don't know, man. Definitely, like, again, I'm with this show, bro. I'm rocking with it. I can't wait to see where it goes next. And just give it a chance there. But yeah, man, that's it for tonight, bro. Like that's I wanted to talk about because I just felt as though it was a need to. I'm enjoying it so far, and I can't wait to see next week where it's going to actually go. I can't wait to meet the witches, May's mom and stuff like that. I can't wait to meet them. But yeah, man, it's going to be exciting. Some exciting times and some exciting stuff. Anyway, thank you guys for being here with us. V, what you got going on, man? What you got coming up, bro?
I'm just working on some more side stuff. Just this is the busiest time of year for me, so I've been just swamped with work and trying to keep up with all that. But looking forward to more from this show to see what's going on. As always, we got comic book talk with friends on Monday nights where we dig into all the comic book news and updates on comics, movie shows, all that good stuff. And I suppose back here when we're back here to talk more Acolyte.
Yeah, yep, back here to talk more Acolyte. We'll definitely
We gotta talk when we get a chance Tales of Empire too.
Yes, let's do that next week. So next week we'll talk Tales of the Empire because we didn't get a chance to do that. And we'll definitely continue on with this discussion about episode 3 of the Acolyte. So definitely we got a lot to talk about then. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting times, man. Again, remember we'll be back here for comic book talk with friends on Monday. So definitely be back here for that. Tomorrow I will be having an interview with Yost from Jazz Inc. talking more about that Catwoman figure, also about future plans. Tune in for that. That's tomorrow at 2 p.m. So that's going to be on Go. And we have, as far as of course, Collectors Lounge International, comic book talk with friends on Monday, Say What Wednesday, Uncivilized Scoundrels, and also Figure Flex Friday. You already know what time it is. Let's go. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. May the force be with y'all. But always remember, if you can't do anything else, always stay uncivilized. Drop the beat. We are out. Peace.
so uncivilized.